What up, ladies and gentlemen? We're here. We're ready to go. We're chilling. It's your boys Tom, it's your boys Lucas, and we're here with another episode of Game Chat to talk about some fun things today. First of all, Lucas, how you doing, man? You've
I've
been
been
seeing
I
any Oh, yeah, how you doing?
I've been better.
Yeah.
As you know, I recently had a chem test that went really well, and I was starting to think of myself as a little bit of a chemist hotshot. And then Chapter 3 came, and
Ooh.
now has me rethinking my life choices. So
Chapter 3 will definitely do it to you, man.
yeah,
It's rough out there.
quantum numbers and electron configuration is harder than it sounds.
If anybody out there in the audience knows about quantum numbers, any smart gamers out there, unlike myself, help out our boy. He's riding the struggle bus lately with this school nonsense.
Yeah, and
Not nonsense. School is not nonsense.
no, the quantum numbers are nonsense. Don't get it twisted.
Well, in the meantime, when you're not working on quantum numbers, you are out there posting great content on our Instagram, trivia questions, interactive posts, interactive things for people to come and check out on our Instagram at GameChat_Tom Lucas, where we post all our things. We're not the most fluent and proficient with the Instagramming, but we're trying to get there and get better and get more consistent, across the board. So, give us a follow. Let us know what you think. If you have any ideas for social media, we're all ears. There are people who get paid to do this. We're not one of them. So, follow us there. Let us know what you think. Subscribe to us on YouTube so you can hear more about what Lucas has been playing lately.
Wow, what a transition. I think we all know that when I do get a chance to play games, it's just Elden Ring all the way.
Bad game.
I don't like that this meme of yours is turning into more than a meme.
Hey, man. It's just the narrative that needs to be spread about this game. I need to downplay it so God of War can have a, rousing steal for the game of the year. Elden Ring came out in February.
That's up to God of War. That's not Elden Ring has already stated its case.
God of
And
War. Okay.
I think well, we can get into this in a little bit, but I do believe that's the biggest reason I think Elden Ring DLC is coming soon is just so they can be like, boom, here's some extra content right before the Game Awards and really cement their case. But yeah, I'm still slowly but surely making progress in the lands between, and there's no way I finish it before God of War Ragnarok comes out. So then I'll be taking a lengthy break.
Yeah, you're running out of time. You only got about 3 more weeks. Holy crap!
Is that it? 3 more?
4.
Oh yeah,
Three and a half.
It comes out on the 4th, right?
November 9th.
November 9th? Oh, a Wednesday.
I'm pretty positive, right? God of
Well,
War comes out November 9th.
Either way, that's only an extra couple days. So yeah, about 3 weeks,
Yeah.
a little less.
And we'll be diving in there, as you all know, once it comes out. We're very excited for the next installation in Kratos' long-awaited adventures. But in the meantime, Lucas is going to keep playing his bad game Elden Ring. And I'm having fun with a little ditty I like to call Golf Story. It's a wonderful game. If I haven't made it clear yet, I am becoming obsessed with golf, both virtually and in real life. So naturally, when I'm not trying to golf in real life, I'm playing golf video games, both on my PlayStation, on my PC, and most recently on my Switch. But I'll get more into Golf Story a little bit later as we transition into, our main topic of the show this week, which is essentially going to be talking about sports games. Right, Lucas?
Yeah, your recent rise and passion for the golfing game genre kind of inspired this topic. And specifically what it is we're not going to be talking about, traditional yearly release sports games. You're not going to find Madden or 2K or FIFA on our lists here. It's going to be things that are one off, or like maybe a smaller franchise with very few releases.
The untraditional sports games,
Yes.
if you will.
And if we're not explaining that too well, you'll see by what's on our list what we're talking about. But basically, yeah, sports games that are not, you don't expect them to come out every year, every other year. This is stuff that dropped, and it's either a standalone or maybe it has like a sequel or something like that. But
One-offs, if you will.
yeah, it's more niche, But sports games can be quality even if they're not directly tied to a major league association.
It's football season out here. It's golf season. The NHL is starting up. NBA is starting up soon. Like, it's all colliding. So we figured it would be a good time to, as Lucas said, chat about some of these games that really help bring the athletic experience to a console or a PC near you. So as you can see, Lucas is wearing a New York Giants hat. So his taste in these kinds of games might be similar to his taste in football teams. Pure trash. So
pure trash. What? Listen.
So we'll let the audience judge as we go along. But why don't you lead off with your number 5? We're gonna work our way up, folks, going from 5 to 1. And Lucas is gonna start us off with his whatever his first game is.
And that is going to be a game that we are both familiar with, and we actually were introduced to it at PAX earlier this year, and that is Windjammers 2. Now, I'm not sure exactly what sport Windjammers qualifies as.
It's its own sport, bro.
Well, there you go. For those of you that don't know, basically the premise of the game is you are playing as a athlete from a country. You pick where you're from, and you play someone from somewhere else, and then you compete in this arena. You have to throw a discus like over a what would you call it?
I guess it's a court.
Yeah,
like a net.
Depending on the map you're in, like things can look a little different. But yeah, it'll be a net or some type of barrier between you, and you want to either have it land on the opponent's court, or even better, if you there is a goal, or sometimes multiple goals, depending on where you're playing, and you can get it through there for extra points. But it's an arcade game style, so you can like set things on fire, and there's not really many elements of realism. But it's still very fun. There are a lot of
different things you can do with it, which is nice. There's a lot of like different elements depending on what characters you're playing. There are different throws and blocks and hits you can do, special moves, whatnot. It's basically a combination of like frisbee and soccer and tennis. All in one.
Yes, I think that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good summation.
Yeah. This is a great game. I'm a big fan of Windjammers 2. Like Lucas mentioned, we discovered it for ourselves at PAX East 2022. And, we had a great time playing it. We went back to play it every day we were there pretty much. And I've tried to play it on my PC with some friends. But the online, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just us, like, having a bad day with the technology, but we couldn't get it to work. Could not set up a private lobby to start with each other, and then we found out we were literally the only ones, because it's one of those games where it tells you when you're logged in and going online, like how many people are online playing and waiting, and we were literally the only 2 people. So for a little while we got it to work where we would just both click join public match at the same time, and they would just match us up that way. But ultimately it didn't work too well. But it's a big time fun game. I would definitely check it out if you can. It's on Xbox Game Pass for those who might be interested. One of the greatest deals in video games.
If you want to get into your number 5 pick, which you briefly mentioned on, but you can expand on the concept.
Well, so you're gonna in the document we usually prepare for our episodes, I kind of wrote these backwards. So my number 5 my number 5 is a little game that goes by the title of MLB Slugfest 2003. Specifically, I was a big fan of the PS2 version. If you couldn't tell, this is a baseball game. It was developed and also published by Midway Games, who make quite a like. They're known for a lot of other like arcadey sports games that they would put out, like NFL. I think it was like NFL Blitz, NHL Hits, things like that. They try to make these almost satirical versions of like normal MLB and NFL games, you know. So this one's a baseball game, but basically it's an arcade baseball game. It has pretty much every MLB team in it with a lot of real players on it as well. You can go through, play different modes, play against each other, start a season, the whole 9 yards. All your traditional elements are in there, but the best part is the gameplay itself. You have the commentary is spectacular, but you also have these 2 meters called the turbo meter and the bean meter. And the turbo meter basically like it gives you a bunch of buffs if you get it up and charge it up all the way. And if you do really well, your player can light themselves on fire. And essentially that makes everything they do better as they go about playing the game of baseball. And there's also the bean meter. If I remember this correctly, there's basically a fine threshold in between line of like if you throw the bean meter at somebody enough, like your batter, or whatnot, throw it back at the pitcher, they'll get a debuff. But if you throw it too much, it'll piss them off, so they will light on fire and then go charge at you, which leads me to the best part of this game. You can just straight up like beat the shit out of people in this game. Lucas is not. You're nodding as if you might know what this is, but you get to
like Midway also developed the top game on my list. So
oh no way. Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling what you're spouting over there.
That was the best. I would play this with my dad, with my siblings. Like he would play it with us when we were really young, but like it was so much fun because he's like, oh, I'm a big sports guy. I'm gonna play the sports games with y'all. And we're like, cool, we can punch the pitcher in the face if we want to. It was like dodgeball. Like, you could just try to throw the ball at people, and if you missed, you just ran up to them and socked them in the face. It was the best.
Instant gratification there.
Oh my god, yeah. So if you got a PS2 and you want to check out a fun game, check out MLB Slugfest 2003 specifically. I believe they released a few of these, like a Slugfest series. I believe there was 4 of them, in fact. 2003, 2004. The one in 2005 was called Slugfest Loaded, and then they had one in 2006. But highly recommend checking out the original for PS2. That's my number 5, baby. Gotta start with America's pastime, punching people in the face.
All right, that's a good pick. Do you want to do your number 4, or should I do my number 4?
Oh, we'll jump to you. We'll jump it back to you.
All right, we'll go back and forth. All right, my number 4 is a game I'm sure I've talked about on here before, maybe not at length, but that is Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure.
Lovely. Yes, you have mentioned this quite a few times.
Yeah,
I can tell you're a fan.
It was, it was just a staple of my PS2 childhood. The premise is basically you go around. It's like Tony Hawk Disney Edition. So you just go around these different maps. I think there's like 3 acts, and it's centered around the characters from Lion King, Tarzan, and Toy Story. And you can unlock, skaters from those, like characters from those games or from those movies, and the environments are pretty cool because it's just themed to stuff like from those movies. The best arena or like skate park, if you want to call it, by far is Andy's Room, because it's just they basically took a bunch of shit you'd see in like a kid's room, and they're like, oh no, you're gonna be able to like grind on like all of this.
And you're just doing this as like Simba.
Yeah.
Does Simba go on all four legs?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Although he does do, like, if you're like, there's certain tricks you can do where he'll like go on two paws, you know. But it's a good time, and I think the end of the game, or there's some map where then they're like, okay, we're actually gonna build a like artificial like town that you can do like normal, like a normal skate park type deal. And I think that for that you could like design your own character and whatnot.
I like that they put Tarzan in there.
Oh yeah, dude, Tarzan is one of the best characters. He really gets into it.
I was a big fan of Tarzan as a young child, Lucas. I don't know if you know this about me, but from the ages of like 2 to like 7, I was kind of obsessed with Disney's Tarzan.
Well, you know, Phil Collins has just made an enchanting soundtrack.
Chef's kiss. Spectacular. So it makes sense to me that he'd also be a badass skater. He's got the limbic dexterity for it. You know what I'm saying? Real lanky guy, young Tars.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you do play as young Tarzan.
That makes sense.
Not adult Tarzan. He wouldn't really fit. Like all the characters are like small, so they were like, yeah, we can't put a full-grown man as one of the characters.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely like. I've never been a huge fan of the skating games, but you know, this one looks fun. Create your own avatar and whatnot, or
yes, they do have that. I think like, you know, once you beat a location with one of the regular characters, they're like, all right, now you can like tear this up like free play, like with your skater of choice.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Well, we'll just jump right into my number 4 then. My number 4 is a game you can't play anymore, unfortunately.
Whoa.
Yeah.
A deceased game?
It is a deceased game, unfortunately. It is 3-on-3 NHL Arcade, developed by EA Vancouver, published by EA. So 3-on-3 NHL Arcade is a licensed NHL like arcade style. Naturally, you play 3-on-3. It's like a smaller rink and whatnot, but the whole thing is, this is another game I used to play with my dad on the PS3. We called it Big Head Hockey because all the players had like teeny bodies and giant heads. It looked like you were playing with those like sports guy bobbleheads essentially for hockey players. This game we played it on the PS3, and it was using the like NHL 09 engine, but basically it was a demo. They packaged a demo for this game with NHL 11, 12, and 13 on the just the PS3 version, and you could put in a code basically to unlock this demo within Shell for those 3 years. But you could also just buy it on the PlayStation or the Xbox Live Arcade. But unfortunately, it's no longer there. It got delisted back in 2016 because, you know, game preservation is a dying thing, and it makes me sad. And that's a whole nother episode we could do on games preservation. But I loved this game back in the day. We used to play this all the time, me and the fam. A lot of fun. Not really as violent as MLB Slugfest was, but you had a lot of cool moves. You could do some skating around. You could do some twisties. It was really like simple and easy. Whereas like, you know, unlike Chell and Madden and those games where like the control schemes get a lot more in depth and kind of complex, this has like literally like move, shoot, pass, and like trick shot. You know, it was really quick and easy to figure out and learn. You could do cool spin moves though, but they had all the licensed NHL players in there, so you could like pick who you wanted to be and pick who you had and where you were playing and whatnot. But big fan of this game. I'm sad that it is no longer available. When I was like looking for some research on this game, like one of the top Google results was like a Reddit post that is just like, is there a way to still play this game from 4 years ago? A lot of people seem to think this is one of the best NHL games ever made, in fact. Not going to lie.
Damn, that's some high praise.
Hey man, if you've never played it, it's spectacular. I wonder if this is still on my dad's PS3. Because we could play locally if we somehow procure that and it's still on there. But that would be a miracle. Like having Flappy Bird still on your iPhone.
Yeah, that was one of the bigger surprises of the last decade that was like removed from the App Store.
Flappy Bird disappearing was one of the surprises of the last decade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it was really popular, and then the guy was like, I hate my creation. And then
Komochi just shut down the App Store. Hey,
yeah.
Hey. Hopefully people start to preserve games a lot more. We could probably like torrent this or emulate it somehow or somewhere, but until then, this game is officially lost to history.
Well, at least you know, it's in your memory and your heart.
Oh, for sure.
Forever.
What about your number 3? Bouncing it back to you. Is that lost to history, or can we still play that?
I could play it right now. I actually I don't know. I don't know if I still have it. I have to check. But my number 3 pick is Wii Sports Resort.
A classic, a true classic.
Yeah, a good time. A lot of different modes and sports you can play. Some of them are objectively better than others. I could play the basketball mode against the computer or other people for hours on end. And the fencing also was just really, really fun.
I like that one too.
Yeah, a good time. Especially that one was different because usually with like Wii Sports type games, it's just like, oh yeah, you're gonna like directly verse a computer to like improve your score, table tennis or whatever you're playing. But that one had a mode where you would progress around like the island, basically like fighting like hordes of people.
Oh,
yeah.
Sick.
So that one was fun. But yeah, a lot of good one. Like even just the like you could fly like a plane around the island and like get different objectives.
Yeah, they kind of brought pilot wings back for that. Low-key.
Like all kinds of stuff. So that one was fun. Really, good with friends, and I mean, it's Wii Sports. Who doesn't enjoy a good Wii Sports bout?
So the weirdest thing that I thought existed with that game was the fact that they developed a add-on for the Wii Remote specifically for that game. Do you remember that? It's the little cube you have to stick into the bottom of your Wiimote, the Wii Motion Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And that was always weird to me because it basically, you had to buy like all new, because, you could always get like the sleeves for your Wiimotes, you know what I'm saying? Like the cases, but you'd have to get all new ones because now you just have this extra like 2-3 inches of block that is now added onto the length of your Wiimote. With the sword fighting in that one, weren't you like knocking them off of giant like towers and shit like that?
So in the one-on-one version, basically, yeah, you're on this like platform that's like raised above the water, and there's like all these like people like in this like lofted stands like around like rooting for someone's demise. Basically, so what would happen is I think it was best of 3, and if you could tie, right? It was possible to tie because there was a timer. So if no one was knocked out of the arena in the time frame and you tied after 3 sets, then they would like cut like 70% of the circle you guys were standing on would be removed. And so you're basically like face to face, like, and right up against the edge. And it's pretty much, okay, whoever can get a clean hit off first is going to win because you're immediately going to fall to your death. Well, not your death. It's a children's game. It's a pretty far drop though. Like it would, like you would live even though you're landing in water, but that's gonna hurt.
You're at least going 10 feet up there.
It's more than that. I think you're like 50 feet in the air.
Oh man, Nintendo gives no mercy in their sports games.
Nintendo's like, oh, you're landing in water. It's kids. They're not gonna know that this is like, yeah, this is like questionable.
They're just going down.
But it adds to the the nitty gritty atmosphere. You'll start sweating once they remove that platform.
Adds the pressure.
But yeah, the fencing, table tennis / ping pong, and basketball are definitely
Nice.
my three most played on that
Nice.
mode. And Wii Sports Resort would be unquestionably the better of the two Wii Sports games if it just had boxing.
Yeah, I was gonna say Wii Boxing and Wii Bowling were easily the two best ones, and I don't know. I never really got the resort, the second one on the island, but if you had a Wii, you had Wii Sports. So it was a shame they never did that with the Switch. Real shame, because now like Wii Sports Switch is like $50 or some nonsense.
Oh, is it like a new version, like a new game?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what do they got? Anything good?
There's like soccer and volleyball and maybe golf.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. But it doesn't look that great,
All right.
in my opinion.
Not as good as the original.
Yeah.
Don't mess with what's working.
Speaking of Wii Sports Switch, they do have a mode in there that is very similar to what my number 3 is. And that would be the heralded, never dying, spectacular game Rocket League. You just simply can't go wrong with Rocket League. We all know it. We've all probably played it. Some people like it, some people don't. But me and you, Lucas, we got really into competitive for a little bit there, where we were having a lot of fun playing it. If you don't know, this game is developed by Psyonix, released for PlayStation and PC back in July of 2015. I originally copped this as a PlayStation Plus game way back in the day, and have had this game ever since. And now I have it on literally every platform I own because it's become so popular. Crossplay is involved. It's free to play. And I gotta say, Rocket League's come quite a long way since the original 2008 game, Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Powered Battle Cars, that came out a couple of years prior. But you got any thoughts on Rocket League, man? You ever try any of the... They even have ice skating and like hockey and like basketball modes in there now.
Mm-hmm.
I usually tend to stick to the normal soccer, but that's just me. I'm getting really good at the soccer one, so.
Yeah, the basketball hockey ones are, they're a nice change of pace, but like by far the best one is the soccer. So if you're gonna,
No doubt.
and I don't think they have like ranked or any, like, I think it's just like, oh yeah, you want to play basketball, you want to play hockey with cars, like here you can go into like this, like, just for fun lobby. It's
adding the content where it needs to. That's how you
Yeah.
stay relevant. You got to keep adding the new modes in for the people that might get sick of it otherwise. I have some friends that are like really good at Rocket League and like it quite a lot. I played it a ton in college, but it's a fun game. It's addicting. We should pick it back up again soon. It's quick to hop into. It's super easy and fun.
Should I buy another battle pass that I'm not going to finish?
No, don't do that. That was silly. And you only bought it with like a week and a half left.
I know.
And that battle pass you level up real slow in that game.
Yeah, even if I had a full season, I don't think I would get the battle pass. It's like it's very hard. Like if you're not winning every single match and like scoring multiple goals, you're getting no XP.
Yeah, it definitely is a game that takes some time to master, and I feel like the longer you play it, the better you get at it. I mean, I guess obviously, but maybe if you start winning all the time, like your XP will increase exponentially instead of incrementally. But who knows? Yeah. We'll get there someday. What's your number 2, man? What's your penultimate?
All right, number 2 is another game I'm sure I've talked about on here before. but I still haven't been able to play it in the last like decade. But that is Super Mario Strikers, arguably the best soccer game ever created.
Which one though?
Which one? The original one, 2005 GameCube.
Okay.
It's just I played that as a kid. I never owned it. It just was one of those things where you go to a friend's house after school and just mooching off of their hardware and gaming that you don't have yourself. So that's how I got to play it, and it was tons of fun, and I just wish I could play it again.
Yeah, man. I'm a big fan of the original. Never got around to playing Mario Strikers Battle League, which is the new Switch one. I heard there was some nonsense, some Nintendo Online nonsense involved with that game. Like, you could play, I think the whole point was you could play 8-player matches because it's 4-on-4 and you could have everybody playing at once theoretically, but they had some nonsense involved with like the online or whatnot or the local play. I think the only way to play with 8 people is if you have like 8 people sitting on a couch together. I think online you could only go in and play like with 2 people or something. I don't know. But I was a big fan of the original. It was pretty crash. Also known in Europe and Australia as Mario Smash Football. Little known fact.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Who's your go-to character in that game?
Probably DK.
DK.
Although I don't remember like everyone on the roster, so I'm probably leaving people out.
Well, let's see here. I mean,
I think I recall him having the best like special move, but again, it's been like 10 to 15 since I actually picked it back up.
Does the new one interest you at all? Had you seen anything about it?
I have not.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any gameplay or anything.
Well, here's the better question, right? You could pick each different character and work your way through the battle cups and whatnot, but who would you pick for sidekicks? Like, who is your go-to? Like, your other team members. You had selections of Toad, Hammer Bros, Birdos, and Koopas.
I think it was Toad.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one of it. Hammer Bros are pretty cool, too, don't get me wrong, but you gotta go with Toad. He's just the best. He's just the best option either way. Okay, well, that's good to know. I was, big fan of that game. It goes down in history as one of the better Mario sports games for sure. Hopefully Nintendo can get it together with these Mario sports games lately, because the new Switch ones have not been recapturing that magic. Because now they've put out a golf one, tennis one, and a Mario Strikers one, and all of them have received pretty mixed receptions.
And did you play the golf one at all or no?
No.
Okay.
No. They all looked like they had some cool gimmicks. Like the golf one, there was basically this mode where you could like everybody was hitting at the same time and you would like traverse the course. So it would go like 3, 2, 1, go. Everybody drives and then everybody runs to their ball and you can like interact with the other characters while you're like running around. It was like Golf Rush or some shit.
So what, you could like hit someone with a club and then now they're falling behind?
I don't know if you could hit someone with a club, but I mean, I assume you could do
or
some
like
crazy
push someone
shit
into
like
a tree, like
yeah, whatever. But
okay.
But again, I feel like the online was like really bad for that. But I don't know. They all got pretty mixed receptions. I heard that the tennis one they put out a lot of content for. Okay. I did talk to some people who liked the tennis one for sure. But a Mario game is actually not on my list, in fact. Little like big surprise for me because I was always a huge fan. But my number 2 is a real pocket pick. This one is called. This one's out of nowhere, folks. This one is called Sesame Street Sports for the PlayStation 1. This game dropped in 2001. It was developed by It was developed by some studio called Real Time Associates, and it was on the Game Boy. They had a Game Boy Color version, and I had the PS1 version. Basically, how this game works is you can choose from one of 6 characters, and you would basically participate in like races, essentially. And it was, every race was like an obstacle course, and you basically, and every different character had their own like special means of transportation, right? So like Elmo would ride roller skates. Fucking Grover was on a unicycle. Cookie Monster, you know those like, did you ever see those things as a kid, like the bouncy balls, like the hopper balls? It's a giant, almost medicine ball looking structure with a handle, and you like straddle it, and you're supposed to like bounce along.
Yeah. It's like a yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's what Cookie Monster rides. It like, that's what he would go around on. But the best one by far was Ernie of Ernie and Bert. He would get in a bathtub and ride it around as a kayak through like whitewater rafting rapids, because Ernie loves baths with his boy Rubber Ducky. But if you weren't doing that, you were doing like weird training things in the gym. But it was cool because they had like a sportscaster announcement room for every like freaking before every level, and like Big Bird was like the Nesson host who was like describing what you were gonna do in the race. And the cool part was they had all the actual like voice actors from Sesame Street voice their characters. It was pretty cool. They had like some different levels and counting numbers. They had Zoe on there, but fuck Zoe. She just rode like one of those like big trike wheels. But it was pretty cool. Like each map had its own different trail for each different character, and you would like race against each other. So you would try to beat your time and whatnot. Big Bird was the commentator. It was lit. It was lit back in the day for like 4 or 5-year-old T-Hubs.
There is gameplay of it.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
That I'm going through. And
did you find the Cookie Monster gameplay?
Let me see. What is this? This is Elmo. I don't even know who this is. This looks like female Elmo.
That's Zoe.
That's Zoe.
That's Zoe.
Oh my god.
Zoe was boring.
Cookie Monster's just literally on a ball.
Yeah.
This seems like the course he's on is like not designed for that.
No, not at all. It was a fun game. I was a big fan of it.
Dude, Grover.
He's on a unicycle.
No, but he's moving like so violently, like it seems like he's gonna fall off. But that's just like his normal movement animation. And then Ernie's confined to the waterways because of his
kayak, his bathtub
choice
kayak.
Of transportation.
Yeah. The best part was it had like a shower head out the back that would like propel him along, and he had like a wetsuit on and shit. Like it was so good. Oh, there was also like different levels. Like there's one level where you're like sledding as Ernie. Who was the pink guy? He was Sully, I think his name was. There was some pink guy who I remember was Big Bird's friend. You could also play as him.
Okay, yeah, he's at the end here. Yeah, you're on like a snow mountain.
Yeah. But huge fan of this game, folks. It's educational, it's entertaining, it's high quality production value, as you can see, because it's got all of the original voice actors from the Sesame Street games. Check this out. If you got a game, I've never played the Game Boy version. I don't know what that's gonna be like. That seems like it might be a little sus, not gonna lie. But I would definitely check out the original one. Let's see. It goes for $42.39 on Amazon. There's only 3 left in stock currently.
Wow. They're going fast, folks.
It's a real collector's item.
Get them before they're gone.
Oh my god. You gonna seek this one out?
No.
Should play it on some PS1 emulator sometime.
I'd rather just play Shrek Smash and Crash Racing.
That's always a good one too. All right, Lucas. With that, let's roll on in to your number one.
All right, my number one is another Midway game, and that is Blitz the League 2. I think for the 360 and PS3, if I'm not mistaken. And that was basically a parody of the NFL. And the gist is...
Could you punch people?
Oh, you can like straight up like break people's like bones and shit. Like
oh wow.
they would they would let me see if I could just find basically anytime you like deliver a hit, there'd be a chance that you could like they'd like zoom in on the injury like inside the body. So you could like rupture things,
like in like Mortal Kombat and like Sniper Elite.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, actually, yeah. Like Sniper Elite is a pretty good comparison for what they would like do. That's amazing. Yeah. So you could like the gist is like you want to, like okay, like this one, someone like fractures their hand, and then they fumble the ball. So that's good for you.
Well, obviously.
But yeah, basically you're trying to like, obviously like get stops and score, but it's also like basically knock as many people out of the game as possible.
I Googled it and found this YouTube video, and the title is, quote, "Is this prison football?"
Oh yeah, that was one of, so like I think a third of the way through the story, you go to jail for doing like Quaaludes or something. What? Yeah, basically one of the other players, like you play as like a team captain, right? And a captain for a rival team. You're out at the club, and he drugs your drink with like a banned performance enhancing substance, and then you fail your drug test and you go to jail. And the warden is like, it's basically like The Longest Yard, where they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna make you play a prison football game, and like if you win, you get your freedom. Or like I'll shorten your sentence for good behavior. But you're just like murdering all of these inmates.
The back of the game says new uncensored campaign mode, and guess what? Late hits are back.
Yeah. Yeah, so
brutal late hits that can inflict serious damage to your opponent's ego.
Yeah. So if you hurt, like the worst injury you give someone, they have to miss like at more plays, which obviously helps your chances of winning. But it's very violent, very unapologetic, and then a lot of the other like rival team captains, like one of the main characters from the first game that you can help you in the second game is named Quentin Sands, and he's played by Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, that's cool.
But the other captains aren't played by like other NFL players, but they are based on NFL players. So like named Cookie Wallace, who is this incredible receiver, like super, super elite, but he also is like very like toxic and will complain when things like don't go his way or he doesn't get the ball. And so he's obviously modeled after Terrell Owens. So amazing. A lot of not every captain, like some of the captains are just like, oh yeah, we're gonna like kind of create our own like idea with this person, but a lot of them are based off of like NFL players, like Brett Favre or like people like that. So that adds another fun part to it, where it's just like, again, they're like parodying, like it's a parody of the NFL. But it's a good time. It's really fun. Like it is a football game at the end of the day. But like, all right, I'm watching gameplay here, and this guy's just beating. He's pulling a Aaron Donald and is just beating another man with his own helmet. So, which obviously, that's
not good looks. That's not good looks.
No, and this game's for kids, mind you. or I guess it's probably not supposed to be for kids, but that's that's their target audience. They're trying to get kids interested. But yeah, there's dirty hits. It's all it's just a bunch of nonsense, but it's really fun. Like and you can also inflict punishment as the offensive player. You can jump kick people so that you can like do a stiff arm with your leg.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's a fun time, and I think doesn't get the attention it deserves, but it's just a funny fun game about football, and I never owned it, unfortunately, so
Oh, really?
I can't play it right now if I wanted to.
That's a bummer.
But yeah, it's but yeah, and the story mode is good. Like you can upgrade like you can actually it's similar to like Premier League, where you can like rise up like divisions.
Oh, okay.
And like every time you go up a division, you can like pick one of the captains from the other teams to like join your squad.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And yeah, basically the story mode is like the owner of the league, like I don't know if Goodell was even the commissioner of the NFL like at this time, but he owns one of the teams, which is like an obvious conflict of interest. So like they get all like the best shit and like the calls and whatever, and so you're trying to rise up to like Division 1 to like take them down and by extension take him down.
That makes sense.
Because you refuse to like play for his team, and so he like has it out for you. But it's just it's like a bunch of nonsense, but it's pretty fun. So that's my choice.
That definitely sounds like an amazing like time. Not gonna lie,
it's a good gaming experience.
The hyper violence in football really is what needs to be like highlighted at the end of the day. Like the NFL is a little too pansy these days. Like we need more head injuries, like more blitz the league type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, more ruptured scrotums and fractures of all kinds.
And like skull cracks.
Been beating people with their own equipment.
Oh my god. Well, my number one is definitely a little less violent than that. It's a lot more cutesy than that for sure. To completely switch gears, mine was the game I mentioned earlier that I've been playing recently. Mine is Golf Story. It is a game that came out for exclusively the Switch back in 2017, and it is developed by Australia. Okay. I keep like they talk with weird accents in this game. Like they don't have voice actors, it's all just dialogue, and I've been trying to like pinpoint and like think about in my head what accents these people have, but it is an Australian developer called Sidebar Games. This game is really, really cool. That makes a ton of sense. But it's basically an adventure RPG based around golf. You're basically playing as this guy who his dad, when he was a kid, got him really, really into golf. And then he didn't play for 20 years. The game literally opens with who I assume is this guy's divorced wife calling him and being like, yo, when are you gonna like come get your shit out of the house? And he's like, don't yell at me, I had to leave in a hurry. And she's like, oh yeah, for what? And he's like, to play golf. I have to reignite my love for golf and finish what my dad started. Like, so he goes to this island where he like has to take on various different golf courses and different environments and basically help his home course and his like jaded coach. It's like, what do you know the coach in Happy Gilmore?
Yes.
It's like him, Chubbs. His name is Chubbs.
Is
right?
Is he missing a hand?
He's not missing a hand, but it's
that he lost to the gator.
It's a similar vibe, but basically, yeah, you go around like helping out this golf course, playing golf, doing mini games, side quest challenges, leveling up and getting better clubs and whatnot. And it was based off of and influenced by the old Game Boy Color version of Mario Golf back from like 99, which was I did play that game, and it is very similar to this, and where you like show up on a golf island and you have your own character and are doing stuff. But it's really cool. Each different course has a lot of different things that teach you like how to play the different environments, and you know, there's also like there's mini golf like sections. There's also disc golf there's this like one like trio of ruffians who like go around causing trouble on each of the golf courses because they're like, we're gonna set up disc golf, it's all about the disc. And then you just show them up, and they're all like psychics, like, you know, the psychics in Pokemon who like hold the Pokeballs up. It's like them, but disc golfers.
Disc golf.
Yeah. But it's definitely a cool game. A huge fan of it. Has great reviews. It's got a 78 on Metacritic. Definitely would check this game out if you got a Switch. Real cheap. And I'm glad I'm finally getting around to this, because this is one of the first games I ever bought for my Nintendo Switch. And, you know, now I'm finally playing it many years later. But yeah, check it out. Sidebar Games, cool game. A lot of fun humor in it. Very cute. Easy to pick up, put down whenever you need to. But other than that, you know, the developers plan on working on a sequel called Sports Story, which will have more different sports in addition to golf, like tennis and soccer and baseball. But we'll see when that comes out. It was originally planned for late 2020, but we don't know when. But high key recommend. I've been addicted to this game, folks. My Switch is on my desk at all times. So if I have a lull in my day, knock out a few holes, get back to work and whatnot, it's great. It's great. You going to buy a Switch for this one, Lucas?
No.
Come on, man.
That is if I'm going to buy a Switch, that is not going to be the reason.
Oh, that's such a bummer. This is a great game. Cheap buy, you know?
Yeah, the Switch isn't a cheap buy, though.
Yeah, but the Switch is one of the best investments you could ever make in gaming, other than the Steam Deck, probably, which I want real bad.
Other than Game Pass.
Game Pass, too. All great deals. Game Pass with a Steam Deck is probably the best combination you could do.
You know what doesn't have a great deal?
What?
Blitz the League 2.
Oh, yeah?
It's basically the equivalent of like NCAA 14, or if you try to get it on the internet, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna like raise it above a original sale price.
Is it like $90?
It's like like the average is like $60 for a game that came out 14 years ago.
Oh, for sure.
That's like 2 generations back.
Hey man, Sesame Street Sports was running for $43 for the PS1.
But how are we supposed to play these classics again if they're being sold at today's price value?
They're like collector's items, man. This is it's a whole thing with the game preservation, you know. They got to raise the prices to make them.
Gamers need to be kinder to each other and stop scalping us for some nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you're right. Nostalgia is like half of video games for me at this point, to be honest. Hence why this game is nostalgia bait for me, because it reminds me of Mario Golf back on the Game Boy. So
there you go.
Well, that kind of rounds out our list, folks. You got any honorable mentions? I do have an honorable mention I want to bring up. We were talking about Blitz the League and a ridiculous football game. We should check out this game called Mutant Football League, which I believe we could just download on the PlayStation Store and play whenever we want. But this game seems insane. It's a football game where you play as mutants. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It looks hyper violent, insane. It is a spiritual successor to the original Mutant League football. But yeah, it's on PS4, developed by Digital Dreams Entertainment. We should check this one out.
Yeah, and it says players literally die on the field.
Yeah, That's exactly what we
Which
need.
did not happen as violent as Blitz the League was. No one would die. Maybe you would die like shortly after the game because of like head trauma, but no one died during the course of the game.
Well, this you're playing like zombies and werewolves and
Yeah.
like crazy monsters and things like that. So, it
So
makes sense.
inflicting more damage
Yeah.
than humans ever could.
Like on like the 30-yard line, I see like spinning saw blades like run across the field. So like, it's all there. It's all there. It looks like a lot of fun. Maybe spice up our Madden competition a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
What competition?
Wow. I see. Damn.
Yeah, we could give that a go. If I can't get Blitz the League because it's ridiculously overpriced, I'll play the next best thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, yeah, man. That's I think that's it. I think that's it.
This was a fun one. Nice to kind of go back through the pillars of our childhood.
For sure. For sure. Folks, you should check out these games. Most of them are still available to play unless you're 3-on-3 NHL Arcade, RIP. Sports are great. Even if you're not a big sports fan, there are games like these out there for you that make sports more accessible and more appealing to the non-sports fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot easier to pick it up than playing a legitimate sports game, and there's all these rules and complications. Sometimes you just want to hit people.
Yeah, you want a button for swing, you want a button for pass, and you want a button for shoot. That's it.
Yeah,
And a
real
button
easy,
and a
easy
button
to
for
pick up.
and a button for face punch.
Yeah.
The hyper violence again is really what we need in a lot more.
Look, I always say
standard
better to get that out through video games than have that fester and
on the field.
no have that fester and then get executed in real life.
Whoa, okay, that jumped.
Take that take that anger out virtually, folks.
Okay, well, with that. Thank you guys for tuning in to yet another episode of Game Chat with Tom and Lucas. I'm Tom, this is Lucas. We have an Instagram, follow it, subscribe on YouTube. Please subscribe on YouTube. These are the best places to watch these and listen to these. We got footage of all the games that we've been talking about that'll definitely be displayed as we go through. You're really going to want to tune in to see what Ernie looks like in a bathtub kayak on the PS1. That's a big reason to subscribe right there. Really, really drive up them views. You know what I'm saying? But until then, we'll see you next time. This has been fun. Lucas, I'll catch you later, man.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the next episode, which you gotta check that out. May have a special guest. We'll see. You're gonna want to be there for that, though.
I'd say. All right, man. Bye, internet.